really want to have you guys tell your students, and we try to tell them this too, we want them to advocate for themselves. We really want to have conversations, because I know we have a lot of athletes. We got kids that are dealing with little injuries here and there. And a lot of times they won't say anything, they'll just kind of not do anything. You know, if they got a big game or something like that.
I attended Michigan. I studied chemical engineering. I taught chemistry before teaching math. After working for a while and decided teaching was my passion. I was born and raised in Detroit, hence my Michigan, my Detroit Tigers, anything. Go Blue. If your kids want a good letter of recommendation to Michigan, I'm all theirs.
And then from there, we figure out, well, what rhetorical strategies did that writer use to get the message across? Because you got to tap into what their values are to really get your message across. And it's not easy, but they do understand it. And it's just really good reading practices for them.
Through the lens of Mexican migrants coming to the United States in the early 20th century, we look at the lens of Europeans coming to the East Coast, and we try to provide students opportunity to see the similarities and the differences in this large cultural fabric that we call America.
It's in Schoology and it's in Google Classroom, but if you want to scan the QR code, there's one right here, and there's also one outside my front door. And that will link you right to this slideshow, and it'll tell you every single day what your student is doing.
The students have a mentor, and they let them read and give feedback. And since we started doing that, it's so much easier to grade them because they're getting help from people with writing experience, or even people that have a little more of a base in that topic.
Hurricanes and tsunamis and floods and wildfires, everything like that. Then from there we talk about the atmosphere, waters and oceans, and then we wrap up the year with human impacts on Earth.
Okay, this is their very special thing. So I tell them they shouldn't be throwing in the quad like a frisbee. The dog shouldn't be running around with it because all their work is in here.
On the left-hand side, it says grades. If you have them show their grades to you right there, you can see how they're doing in the class, and you can also access their other grades and courses as well.
I've got some contacts around here. I'm hoping we can get some field trips at some local ranches and farms in town for this class, because I really think that would be fun and applicable to them, and get them some ideas rolling on maybe what they want to do after high school.
Okay, so like I said, I'm Miss Funkin, so I'll do a just general introduction to me. I live in Montera, so I'm on the coast along with a lot of you guys. I also have 3 kids. I can't believe now I just can't believe where the time has gone, because now I only have one here at the high school. He's a junior.
In chem, it's pretty regular homework. Like there's an assignment at each block period. The block period's great, but we lost some days with the block period overall, and if we didn't do the homework thing, we would not get through nearly as much stuff.
We're always doing something. We have 90-minute periods. So the students often have a document they're looking at, they're answering questions that are related to something we talked about in class, but they'll get a fair amount of class time, right, to work on that document, and then maybe even start a homework, before they walk out.
So some of you might ask yourself, why Spanish? The reason why is very simple. It is the second most spoken language in the world, which is kind of a big deal. Now, to be fair, that does tend to alternate every few years between English, so English is a close third, but currently it's Spanish. So it's Spanish.
Talking about advisory with you guys because we unfortunately don't have it in our back to school night schedule, but I want you to know that it is amazing. It's built in every other day for 1 hour for your scholars to go to the teacher they are struggling with. Whatever subject they are struggling with, they go to that subject and get one-on-one help with their teacher.
So, super fun class. There is potential in here for people to get hurt, so that's why I really push safety. I rely on my students to help each other out with it, right? Somebody forgets their safety glasses. We want to have a culture where we can remind somebody.
A little bit of background about myself is I'm from Texas, got a scholarship to Columbia, went to New York, worked in publishing, then I came out here and worked in nonprofit, and then I went into teaching. And I've been here, this is my 25th year.
So they had a bad quiz, they can come back and retake it for up to 80%, or they can do quiz corrections for up to 60%.
So there's always ways to kind of like support the testing.